so that you can enjoy this at your leisure afterwards. So I'll send you the link to where the recording is, and that you can enjoy that. Matter of fact, I think it's like upendpr.com/workshop replay, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where it goes. Anyway, that's coming to you later, so just make sure you check your email. Let's see if anybody else wants to be friendly. Mike Sano, Sano Publishing, author and publisher, msano, MSAHNO.com, and he's also, you can follow him at Mike Sano, at Mike Sano on Twitter. That's MikeSahno. Mike, welcome. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and switch things off to a new window. And here we go. I'm going to share with you in about, man, we're going to have to really rifle through this stuff. So again, I hope you got something to take notes, either old school pen and paper, maybe you use Evernote, maybe you got a note-taking app, whatever, because I'm going to give you a lot of resources, going to give you a lot of value, very, very actionable stuff. I love podcasts, I love webinars, workshops, etc., where I feel like I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got some great stuff that I can do. This is one of those workshops. So here we go. If you're ready, let's go. Here's what you're going to learn today. Number one, we're going to talk about how much money you can save with excellent publicity. Number two, how you can drastically improve any sales funnel. If you don't know what a sales funnel is, no worries. Share what that means. Number three, how you can easily do this yourself. No, you don't need to pay anyone $4,000 or $5,000 a month for PR. There's honestly, it's not rocket science. When you learn from my confidence, my experience, I will share with you exactly what I do step by step, and you can decide whether or not this is something that you can do on your own, or maybe you want just a little bit of help and support and making connections and that sort of thing. But I want to make sure that you know what you need to do today, starting today. I don't want you to go out and do a bunch of activity that's going to be frustrating for you. Number five, where you can find the best media contacts and how to connect with them. Number six, we'll talk about the cardinal sin that you or anybody else may commit in trying to do your own PR. It's no good, no bueno. You don't want to do it, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Number seven, how to get on the Today Show, how to connect with Oprah, how to be worldly famous. I could teach you how to do all that stuff. All right. Number eight, what is the number one job of an entrepreneur? I want to make sure you feel like you've got some success philosophy all kind of wrapped up in this. Why are we doing this? Why are we talking about publicity? Why is that important? I'm going to share with you some numbers. I'm going to share with you some examples, and at the end of this workshop, you're going to be on, your hair's going to be on fire. You're going to be so excited. That's my promise to you. All right. So, and by the way, welcome. Let's see, we got a couple other people. Coyote Banks, welcome. And Mike says, hey, thanks for the shout out. By the way, I want to let you know that you can ask questions. I encourage you to ask questions. It's great that you've got a chair and you're attending and learning and that sort of thing. I want to make sure you feel like this is personalized for you. So totally happy to take any questions during this thing. If it's not on topic, I might save it for later, but don't worry. I will try to make sure that we get everything answered. So that said, who is this for? Well, it's for entrepreneurs who are committed to some sort of online presence. If you're a brick and mortar business and you still advertise in the yellow pages, this is probably going to be, it's like, what are you guys from the future or something? This internet thing, huh? So yeah, we're going to be talking about how to use internet-based tools, this whole great internet thing. We're going to talk about social media. We're going to make sure that you have the latest and greatest technology so you could do this work much more efficiently. Also, I got to say that you should probably have a little bit of grit. If you're just dabbling in business, then I think you're just going to smile and say, whew, boy, that Josh guy is a little bit too intense for me. I don't think I could ever do that. And that's fine, right? Because you may not be at that stage where you're ready for that next phase of growth. But I find that most people who are in business for themselves are pretty ambitious. They really want to create success. And so, hey, you're in the right place. So again, if you're dabbling or you're just dabbling in business, or you're just looking at some way of getting rich overnight, you're not going to like what I'm about to tell you. Okay, so let me share with you my story and why I have immense amounts of authority. I'm being facetious here, but why have I taken it upon myself to share what I'm about to share with you? Well, a long time ago, I was in the United States Navy as a Navy journalist for 5 years. I got a lot of experience, particularly working in broadcast journalism, TV news, radio, and I really, really enjoyed it. But ended up went to school for family therapy because I really, really love relationships, and but ended up getting involved in internet development and started several businesses. Some failed, some didn't do so good, some did okay. One of the businesses was a small town newspaper for a couple of years. That was a horrible business. Don't ever do that. But eventually, about 10 years ago, I launched a company called SavingsAngel.com. And what we do is we help people cut their grocery bill in half. And we're pretty good at what we do, and we've helped millions of people. So as a company, we launched this at the January 2007. So matter of fact, I think in 10 days, we officially celebrate our 10th anniversary. That's nuts. Man, 10 years goes by quick. But when I started this company, like many other startups and entrepreneurs, I really didn't have a whole lot of money for advertising. And one thing that I know, and this is something, if you want to write something down or if you want to tweet, here you go. Here's your first tweet that you might want to share, and make sure to tag me so I can retweet you later. And that is that without exposure, there's no success. You have to have it. Exposure is everything, right? You can create the best product and service in the world, but if nobody knows about it, then it's just not going to happen, right? There's this myth that a lot of people believe is that they can just get discovered and all they have to do is just create something wonderful and business is just going to come find them. It's not, right? And I realized this when I began Savings Angel. So I didn't have any money, but I did have a little bit of familiarity with how journalists worked. And so what I chose to do is I started reaching out to radio stations and news magazines and newspapers and anybody I could with an audience. And I said, look, I would love to advertise with you. I don't have any money. Is there any content that I could provide? I could be of service to your audience. I don't need anything in return. I really just want to serve because I'm really passionate about this subject and helping consumers cut their grocery bill in half. And we have a really good system for that. Well, enough of them said yes that I started in on it. And I wasn't very good at first, but I guess I was good enough that I got invited back and I got to start contributing from time to time. And eventually I started writing a newspaper column for the Grand Rapids Press. And that ended up turning into, first they did a story on me, and I thought, man, that's great, because this was a pretty magical day when this happened. Because when we got this front page of the business section news story all about Savings Angel, this was the first day where we made some pretty good money in one day. I want to say it was like maybe $400 or $500 in one day. And that doesn't sound like a lot of money to some of you, but for us, it was enormous. And from that day forward, it was pretty awesome because from that day forward, my dear wife and I, my 3 wonderful children and I never had to worry about where money was going to come from ever again. And if you've been in that entrepreneurial cycle, you know what that's like, right? You remember your history in that it's a little frustrating and it's stressful to have a great product or service and not really make enough money at it. But when this happened, things changed for us. And I thought, man, this media thing is really working for us. And in fact, that article led to an invitation to, well, actually, I invited myself. I asked if they would be interested in me writing a column for them, and they said, sure. That then led to an invitation to write a syndicated column for the publishing company, and now it's in over 1.1 million readers read my column every single week, 9 newspapers. I started doing TV. When I came down to Orlando, Florida, my family and I moved down here about 7 years ago. And I reached out to my local Fox affiliate. They had a big morning show, a lot of time to fill, and had some connections. And I started doing a segment with them. Now, I have been doing that every Tuesday morning. Today is Tuesday, in fact, so I can tell you exactly where I was this morning. Matter of fact, you can go to my YouTube channel for Savings Angel, and you can see the segment I did all about how to get amazing deals on theme park tickets and all sorts of things. I did a segment on that this morning. So I provide a lot of value to this audience. And all told, TV, I've now been on, well, and I do a syndicated TV segment now in 70 markets, 2 to 4 times a month. So in terms of like what we do for exposure, That's all we do. We don't do regular advertising. So it's a little bit different. And we'll talk about, kind of the differences between marketing and public relations. I really, really love this system because every morning you can wake up and you can think, well, who can I serve, as opposed to, who do I need to sell to each day? So I just really like this way of doing business. The more people you serve, the more people come to find you, and the more people want to do business with you. So as such, Savings Angel, over the past 10 years now, we've done over $5 million in sales, which is not bad. 2 years ago, well, in fact, you might think, well, at any time, Josh, did you hire PR people to help you with this? And the answer is yes, we did. In fact, over a course of a couple of years, I blew over $25,000 on trying to hire a PR, trying to get other people to represent my company. And it didn't really work out very well for me, unfortunately. And that's one thing that I've learned, is that nobody can represent a company as well as the owner. And so we're going to talk about that a lot today. Because, again, as I mentioned, you don't get discovered. If it's going to happen, like if you are going to make it big, if you're the owner of a company or you're on the marketing team or something like that, it's on you. You have to grow the company, because if you don't, who is? Who's going to do that? It's the most important work that you can do. A lot of times, kind of Michael Gerber type stuff, when he talks about the E-Myth, a lot of us get into business and we just want to keep doing the work of the business. We're working in our business. We're not working on our business. And really what we need to do is we need to focus on growing our business each and every day. So why would you want to do this? Hey, you know what? I said I was going to do a giveaway in the email, didn't I? Hey, let's do that. Hey, Erica says, so true. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. So let's do a giveaway. On a couple of slides ago, there were a bunch of media logos on that. Get your typing fingers ready and go into the question box. And the first person who can give me one media outlet that I've ever been on, if you type it in there, first person to type one in there, you get a $25 either iTunes or Amazon gift card, completely your choice. All right, so Mike says CBS. Yeah, I've been on CBS. Erica says Parents Magazine. That's correct. Mike, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you, so I'll hook you up with a gift card a little bit later. We'll make sure that we get connected. Erica, so close, but that was also a very good and correct answer. And kudos to both of you. Erica says LOL. All right, so let's talk about. So Mike, again, let's hook up afterwards. Make sure that I get you connected with that. Congratulations. I'll have another awesome giveaway at the end of this presentation too. All right, so why do you want to become famous? Why do you want to become a subject matter expert, a thought leader? Like, why? What does that do for you? Well, I think it's really simple. It's because, I'll get to Gerald in just a second. When you're well known and when you're respected in your industry, I don't know too many thought leaders who have products and services for sale who aren't making a lot of money. I mean, it seems like people who have contributed a lot of thought and are well respected tend to be sought after quite a bit. And that's what I want for you. I want people to seek after you. They look at you and they say, oh my gosh, you know so much about fashion in Los Angeles. And so you become the go-to expert for your network of influencers and journalists and producers, people with audiences. Like, it's a really great place to be in when that's what you've got set up. And when you're just kind of doing your own thing and you're not really seen as someone that experts and audiences can go to, then it doesn't really happen. And so if we can put you in a position where, let's say you end up having like 20, 30 influencers, journalists, producers that are commonly, like, they're always finding out what you're up to and what you have to say on a certain story, well, that's a pretty good position to be in, because then you're going to get a lot of publicity. Publicity is a good thing, right? And what we do at Upend PR, by the way, is that's exactly it, is we turn startups, we turn entrepreneurs into media celebrities. We have clients that are on reality TV shows. We have clients that are quoted we have clients that are like in 55 media outlets in a month. It's just ridiculous. So what I share that with you to let you know that what I'm teaching you and about to teach you absolutely works. If they can do it, you could do it. All right. So we want to get you connected with superstars. Gerald, I got to tell you, sometimes Gerald, by the way, anybody know what movie this is from? Here's another trivia question. What movie is this picture from? And what movie is Gerald in? It recently came out on DVD. Go ahead and answer that in the question window, and we'll see if anyone can guess it. Because Gerald, you could tell, is a little goofy, right? And so these seals right here on this, these sea lions on this side, this is their rock. And they kind of own the rock. And yeah, Carrie Ann says Finding Dory. That's correct. So Gerald's a little goofy, as you could tell. Well, these sea lions don't want anybody else coming on their rock, especially Gerald. So Gerald, who wants to be like the cool sea lions, wants to go on the rock. And they don't really care for that. So, oh, by the way, I never noticed. Look, there's Dory or not Dory, but there's Nemo and his dad there. What's Nemo's dad's name? I forget. Anyway, so sometimes I feel like Gerald, right? Because you see, oh my gosh, if I could just get Oprah, the cool kid on the rock, to talk about my product or service, I would be rich overnight, right? If I could just get on the Today Show, if I could just get some giant podcaster, right, to start talking about how wonderful I am, all my wildest dreams would come true. And so sometimes you feel like, well, how do I make that happen, right? Because every time I try to go in their inner circle, they're just like, yeah, no, I don't think so. You're not really ready for that. So I'm going to talk about how you can get to hang out with the cool kids. But why are we doing this? Well, let me share with you some numbers. Let me share with you some facts about why you might want to do this. Well, here's me on TV. Hey, it looks kind of like the shirt I'm wearing today, but it's a different one. I prescribe the wardrobe formula where you kind of wear similar stuff most days on your media days. So here's why I do what I do. Here's why I go and I spend maybe an hour or two on Monday and then a couple of hours on Tuesday every single week. It's because of, you see this nice little spike here? Okay, these are my Google page views here, and you can see most of the time, you know, it just kind of goes up and down, blah, blah, blah. But wow, look at that spike. Well, what just happened? Well, my newspaper column came out that morning, and I also appeared on Fox 35. So I start talking about all these amazing deals that you can get on TV, and a certain number of people end up going to the website because they want more. I don't do a hard sale. I just say, hey, if you want these coupons and a bunch more, I can, you know, there's free stuff that you can get where you can save, you know, 50, 60% off your grocery bill right now. That's my call to action, and it's at savingsangel.com. And people go check it out, and then people sign up, and then people pay me. Matter of fact, you could see in this chart up here, you could see most days I only get about like 10 to, I don't know, 20 or so enrollments each day. But wow, look at these days, these big spikes. That's somewhere between like 50 to 70 something. Well, again, that's a Tuesday. So that's why I do what I'm doing, is that it's because I like to make money and I like to grow my business. And really your business or anyone's business kind of comes down to three variables, really. It's exposures, it's conversion rate, and then retention in some cases, right? You need exposure. Right? That's the people that are coming into your funnel, your sales funnel. And then depending on how effective your sales funnel is, you're going to find yourself with a conversion rate. Maybe 1 out of every 30 people who come to your website end up downloading your free ebook, buying your product, buying your book, whatever it may be, buying your product. They do business with you. Okay, we like to track conversion rates because, you know, look, it's no problem to get you on TV. I can do that. But if your conversion rate is lousy, then you're not going to make a whole lot of money. So we end up doing a lot of work with our clients on both exposures and conversion rate. So we want to always increase both of those numbers. So if I can have 1,000 times 1, well, that's not real great. But if I can have 1,000 times 20, Well, that's a whole lot more. That's the difference between 1,000 sales and 20,000 sales. So I like 20,000 sales better. So conversion rate's also very important. But again, you won't learn what works without a lot of exposures. That's really important, because I believe in a principle, this philosophy called lean startup. And lean startup, I'll just kind of put it on camera here for just a second, is that you don't want to go out. I mean, most smart business owners today don't go out and say, well, I'm going to go out and get a $50,000 loan and I'm just going to try this business and see if it works out. You don't do that, right? That would be pretty dumb. Most investors are not going to give you money just to try something out. It's much better to try out something that's low risk, do a lot of research, do a lot of study, find out what your audience wants. And then once you find that out, and then that's what you build and scale for. If you try and build something saying, oh, if I build it, they will come, not necessarily. And in most cases, they won't, because you haven't done a lot of research. So those exposures coming in, they teach you what to develop. Your audience, like for example, when we launched upendpr.com 2 years ago, at first it was all about like, well, we're just going to teach entrepreneurs how to become successful, in PR. And while we do get some people who really want the do-it-yourself model, the vast majority of people who we end up doing business with, they want a little bit of hand-holding with this thing. They don't want us to be a full-service PR firm, but they certainly want us to help them make a lot of connections. So we learned that in the first year and made some changes, and it was super brilliant of us to be able to do that. But it wasn't because we were fortune tellers. Like, I didn't know that. I didn't know what people really wanted. You just have to make guesses, and then people will tell you. And the only way for you to learn what people truly want is that you just have to get those numbers in. Does that make sense? All right. So, and by the way, again, just a reminder, if you hear something that you're like, that's pretty insightful. That's like, I think that was pretty brilliant what I just shared. I mean, that's like easily hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of value, saving you from lost investments in something that nobody wants. Like, don't do that. Like, I think most entrepreneurs have made big mistakes. It's better to kind of test that stuff out early rather than later, so it's a lot less expensive. All right, back to the show. All right, so media validation is really, really helpful, because when you do get people that come to your website, if you're just advertising for people, you are going to attract skeptics. Why? It's because people don't like being advertised to. I'm thinking of someone, Carrie Ann, I know you do work in both advertising and PR, and this has got to be an interesting topic for you about sourcing your leads and where people come from. It's because, again, when you see an ad, let's say you're watching a YouTube video and YouTube makes you watch like a 15-second commercial and it's just some lame commercial. Like, I don't care about this. Like, how excited are you about that? Well, you didn't go on YouTube so you can watch a bunch of commercials, unless it's like Super Bowl, right? And you want to watch the best commercials for Super Bowl. Generally, we avoid ads. We don't like banner ads. We don't like stupid Facebook ads. We don't like 30-second commercials in between TV shows. We skip those, right? We avoid those at all costs. We don't like being sold to. However, people do like being informed. They do like being inspired and educated and entertained. And that's what you and I should do. Because if you'll do that, you're going to find that people are going to approach you and they're going to say, hey, I loved all those deals you shared on Fox this morning. I sure would like some more help so I can get more deals like that. Man, what a great way to kick off a relationship, wouldn't you agree? So that's why media validation is pretty awesome. So how much money can you make with great publicity? Well, on its face, publicity, in my experience, is about 3 times more valuable than advertising. Like a 3-minute segment in terms of what you're going to get from the audience. See, advertising, this is an interesting point here. Advertising is high control. Like, you can really control the messaging on advertising, okay? But with your audience, you have very low trust, right? They don't like you, they don't know you, they don't trust you based on you just advertising to them. But that said, yeah, you absolutely controlled the message. Now, in the reverse of that is public relations. PR, you have lower control over the messaging. right? You have to focus on just serving the audience. That's your job. You have to focus on making the job of the journalist or the producer or the influencer, whoever it is that's invited you onto their platform. You need to make them look good. You need to make their job easy, and you need to serve that audience. That's your first job. You selling your thing, that's like a distant second, right? And I mean a real distant second. Now, if you will have that mindset, you're going to find that PR is going to come very, very easy to you, right? If you like people and you like serving audiences, then this is going to be like a walk in the park for you. It's just really, you just do this and you get better at the skills, but you have to have the right mindset first. And I'm telling you, you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, where's these list of tools? Oh, I'm getting to the tools. Just you wait, right? You got to get this mindset down first. There goes my pen. You got to get this mindset down first, because if you don't, you're going to be frustrated by the experience, because everyone's going to tell you no. And even if you do get a yes, you're never going to get invited back. So we need to make sure that this stuff is fixed first, then you can continue on. All right, let's continue. So yeah, you can make a lot of money with this. Let's share some real numbers. Let's compare Facebook advertising to PR. Let's kind of throw out some hypothetical numbers. Let's say Facebook advertising, you got your clicks to website, your click to website down to 50 cents per visitor. That'd be pretty good generally. All right, that's for a sales page. And let's say that you want to get 1,000 visitors. That means you would have to spend $500 to get 1,000 visitors, right? 50 cents times 1,000. Now, if you have a 5% conversion rate on a $20 product, that's not bad. That's 50 sales in a week. You've earned $1,000, because that's 50 times $20. So you invest 500, you get $1,000 back. That's a $500 profit. That's pretty good, right? However, 50% of that is going out the window every week. Obviously you would probably scale up under these numbers, but still, 50% is gone. Now, what happens if your click to website, let's say your Facebook advertising all of a sudden starts getting really competitive in your niche, and now your clicks to website are like $1 or more? What happened to your profit margin? None. You get none. And again, I'm not saying don't do Facebook ads under this scenario. I would absolutely recommend you do Facebook ads. It's really nice if you have a smart person to kind of help you out with that kind of stuff. But let me compare that now to PR and getting media endorsements. Now, let's say rather than 1,000 visitors, let's say, people are like, well, they saw you on TV, and then to actively go to your website, it takes a little bit of effort. So the link is not right in front of them. So let's say you only get 200 visitors. Now, what you're going to find is that the reason that these people are coming to find you is because they already know you, like you, and trust you, because you had media validation. So on a $20 product, a 25% conversion rate, you would earn 50 people giving you $20. There's that same $1,000. But what was your investment? Well, once you develop the relationships, it's really nothing. Like some sweat equity. Like I said, I spend probably, on a busy week, maybe 4 hours for that, and as a result, it's good effort. It's good activity. I get a lot of good stuff out of that. You get the direct sales. There are a lot of other benefits that go well beyond just these people coming to your website and signing up. Have media logos you can put on your website. You can reconvert and resell to your existing audiences. You can raise your rates when you have a lot of media logos on your site. The most valuable thing, by the way, if you're taking notes, that you get out of a media placement with an influencer or a journalist for the first time is the relationship with that influencer. Absolutely, without a doubt, the most valuable thing you'll get is a new relationship with someone who has a big audience, because we want to make sure that we continue to serve that person, and we end up getting a lot of media exposure for years, rather than just like, well, okay, I guess I did the NBC in my market. Well, I'd like you to keep going back, quite frankly, because, just do what I did, and I've now been, let's see, at least once a week for the past 7 years. So that's times 50. That's 50. That's, holy cow. That's getting on probably close to 400 times I've been on Fox 35 alone. So I like that. That's like free advertising. I will take that. And also you can see right here, your profit margin is pretty outrageous. So once you set up this machine, it pays you for life. And so think of your business now, or the business that you're working on or creating. Now, if you had hundreds of hot leads regularly visiting your website, how much more would you earn? And what if that turned into thousands? And again, these are people who like you. They saw you somewhere where you got a lot of validation, so they want to buy your stuff. And the rules of what I'm talking about, by the way, I use the example of TV a lot just because I do it. It's very easy once you get good at it, because there's not a lot of competition once you know how to play the rules of TV. Look, the rules apply. Doesn't matter what media format you're talking about, social media or traditional media. Influencers are influencers, and they are going to pay big attention to what I'm about to share with you. Can you do this yourself? Absolutely, you can. Now, there are a lot of tools out there. We have a lot of expertise. We've been doing this for a long time. Are there people who can speed up the process for you? Yes. Are there people who would love to take your money and do it all for you? Yes. Be very, very, very careful of the latter in what I just shared, right? People who want to do all your PR for you. It's kind of like what ends up happening. And this is what traditional PR, kind of where it's at right now, and why why we are trying to upend the PR industry, and I believe we will. Is that right now for startups, for entrepreneurs, small, medium-sized businesses, most PR companies, they want to represent you because they want a lot of billable hours. They want success, right? But they say, well, I'm just going to manage all these relationships, and I'm going to kind of be like your kid's sister who's coming along on your date, and I'm going to sit in the front seat right in between you and your date, and anytime you want to talk to your date, you're going to have to talk through me. I'll do the talking for you. They don't necessarily want you to take over, because then you wouldn't be paying them anymore. And so that's why I say be careful, because that can end up being very expensive. I've talked to so many business owners who've ended up blowing tens of thousands of dollars and have had very little to show for it. What we do at Upend PR is we just try to empower our clients so that they can do this with or without us, and we can continue to introduce them to new opportunities. So we're not worried about losing relationships, because we just want to grow with our clients really fast. So are you ready to start pitching now? However, I'd say, wait a minute, slow down there. Don't be too ambitious, because a lot of people end up getting real sloppy, and you're trying to go for the sale, and it's really not the best way that you should do that. Okay? So what should you do instead? Well, you need to focus on becoming an expert. I don't want to say first, like you could still start making friendships and connections, but before you start really going for the jugular in terms of pitching, why don't you work on your authority first? And here's why. I could send you out and I could give you a list of 20 media outlets, 20 producers, morning show producers. And I say, hey, go for it. Why don't you go ahead and send an email to all these people? Well, if your authority is not real high, you're not going to be respected. Matter of fact, let me give you a perfect example. When you get an email from someone and it's kind of unsolicited, you're going to categorize that email into one of four categories. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, I'm going to respond to this person immediately. 2, I'm going to respond to this person later, and then you do. 3, I'm going to respond to this person later, and then you get busy and then you don't. Number 4, I am not going to respond to this person. I don't know who they are. Right? And they definitely don't look like someone that I should spend my time on. Now, this sounds superficial, right? But we all do it because we're look, everyone's busy. And so, especially our producers and journalists and influencers, they don't really have time to talk with everybody that reaches out to them. So they have to make a snap decision very quickly on do they respond to you or not. See, they're never going to let you know why they don't respond. You're just going to think they don't like you, or you did something wrong, or you might think, oh, PR doesn't work. Let me tell you, PR works. And people who are high authority individuals don't have any problem with PR. So we need to help you to become higher authority. And you need to put, I already talked about this, put audiences first, blah, blah, blah. All right, so what do you need to do? All right, you taking notes? Good. Number 1, fix your website. Please, please, please don't have a website like buystockedwithus.com. Okay, if I scroll, because I love this. This is a little counter at the bottom, and that is so 1990s. Yeah, you don't want to do this. You don't look. You are really in a position if you have a web-based business. You're just simply you need to do a facelift or a redevelopment on your site every 2 to 3 years. It's because what was cool 2 to 3 years ago, it ain't so cool today, right? If it's not mobile responsive, you are missing out big time, right? If your website is just not driving sales like it could, you're missing out on sales big time. And you know what? You're going to be harshly judged on your website. If we scroll down to the bottom of your front page and it says copyright 2016, whoops. So, I mean, you still have a little bit of grace period. It's still understandable right now, but I still see websites that are like copyright 2012. And like, I get pitched all the time as a journalist myself. And when I see that, it's like, okay, I'm sure they're busy or whatever, but it just shows that someone's asleep at the wheel or they're not real serious about their branding. Right? So you just want to make sure that your website is journalist friendly, and you also need to make sure that you have a press kit. A press kit is just simply a page that makes it really, really easy for journalists and influencers to work with you. Right? You can go on, if you want to see an example, you go to savingsangel.com, you can look at ours there. You can go to upendpr.com, we have one right there. You can just copy that if you want. It's really not hard. We do that with our clients a lot, help them design kind of like the perfect press or the perfect press kit. But across the board, having a good press kit on your site will increase your success rate by about 10 to 15%. And we want every percentage of increase in success possible. Number 2, how's your digital reputation? Now, you can do a Google search for me right now. Hey, go ahead. It's Josh Elledge, JoshElledge. I can tell you exactly what you're going to find. Now, there was a Josh Elledge who died a couple months ago. You can ignore that. That wasn't me. That was morbid. There's nothing like doing a Google search for your name and seeing your own death. But hopefully, after a while, that'll get cleared out. But pretty much the rest of the first like 4 pages of Google are pretty good. Like, I've been out doing the thing. If you go out, and here's how to improve your digital reputation real quick. Unless you're John Smith, which is going to make it a little kind of tough. Again, most people I think are going to, if you have a common name, they'll put your name of your brand in there too, or your industry or something. But here's how to improve your digital search results, your impression, or your digital reputation. Is just go out and do a bunch of nice stuff for other website owners, bloggers, podcasters. And Google will reward you for being a cool person. They really will. So it's not about guest blogging so you can have links back, but instead it's about how can you contribute in a way where you really don't care what that person gives you back. You'll find that professionals will always reciprocate anyway when you go do stuff, and you won't look like Adam Evers here on the page here. It's not good reputation, digital reputation. Okay, and then finally, the third area you're going to be harshly judged on is your social media. Number 1, LinkedIn. Boom, just whatever. Put your resume up there. Just make it professional. It's not rocket science. Just make sure it looks good. Because, again, it's just basically we're just going to see are you legit or not. And so they'll take a look at that. The media will. And they'll also take a look at you on Twitter. Now, go ahead and look at me on Twitter. There's an example of what you might want to do. I've been really working at it. About 2 years ago, I had 0 followers on my personal account. I had just reserved the name some time ago and was just using it to kind of, I don't know, follow along during sporting events and debates and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't really use it for anything. And then I got real serious about it. And, today I'm at 26,000 followers, which isn't bad. But really you just want to have a complete profile, professional, and you want to show some engagement. And there's a lot of things you can do that can help you to increase your followers and increase your engagement. There's a lot of tools, and I'll share with you a course that I can point you to that can really help you to become a superstar on Twitter very quickly. And most importantly, even if you hate Twitter, that's totally cool. I don't care if you hate Twitter. You don't have to love it, but you have to see it as a communications platform just like you would the phone, because Twitter will speed up the PR process for you. and then you'll be ready for business. All right, so how do you date a journalist? Well, you got to be cool. You got to be like the Fonz. You don't want to come on too strong. You got to work on your reputation first, and then you just want to make yourself known. And you do things like, responding to a tweet, or retweeting something, or liking something. Just, be cool. Don't come on too strong, but just come on. You want to show up on their radar a little bit, so that by the time you get to the next step, like when you actually want to go for a pitch, this would be number one. You're kind of an expert in your whatever it is that you do, and trust me, you are an expert in something. And if you don't feel like you really own it at this point, I have just given you permission to own it. You are an expert. Most everybody is. And then again, you're working on your branding, making sure that that looks good. The 3 things we talked about earlier. You're being cool on Twitter. Number 4, you just offer to be helpful then at that point. And that's it. And you treat a journalist or influencer like any other person, right? Don't sell to them. Don't ask them for anything. Just simply say, you want me to give you, here, if you're taking notes, let me give you a really good pitch. I'll just kind of wing something here. So let's say, for example, there's a journalist, and the journalist writes on technology, and you happen to have a technology company, but it's kind of focused on maybe like email marketing optimization or something like that. So something was just trending in your industry, right? Maybe like some big company got acquired in the email marketing space. All right, you would use a technique, and some call it newsjacking. I really just call it just paying attention to stuff that people are talking about. But you would let your technology reporter friend know, hey, I don't know if you realize, but this just happened. And let me know if you want to throw together a story on this, because I just blogged on this. If you want to write a story, here's a couple of quotes you could use. Here's some bullet points of like what you might want to use for that story. Please let me know how I can help. And you don't say that you want links back. You don't say, hey, I want you to talk about how great our company is. It's not the time to do that. Right at this point, right? It's like, that would be like going to a party and just blah, 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 me. Like, people don't like people like that, so don't do that. Just offer to be helpful. And you'd say, you just offer to help them write their story. And they're going to be like, hey, wow, yeah, thanks, I did hear about that. And it's kind of on my list to write about. And then they'll use you. And if you do that, they're going to use your notes. And guess what? They will credit you. It might not be perfect the first time, but that's okay, because you're investing in that relationship. And again, this might be with a journalist. It might be with a really, really big social media celebrity or something, that you wanted to alert them to something that's really specific to your niche industry, and then they can retweet it and look great. They'll thank you for that, and hopefully they thank you publicly. So that's how it works. Now, let me share with you some other tools that you can use. Now, one of them is a service called Haro, or helpareporter.com. It's free. I'm going to warn you, it's a lot of work, but if you got a little bit of time, you might consider this. Okay, so it's an email, comes out 3 times a day. That email is filled with requests from journalists who need to quote experts. Okay, you could do it. You have to be very diligent. The email comes out at around 6 noon and 6 p.m. 6 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. Eastern time. So you can do that. And you know what? Look, in terms of what is easiest for placement, by the way, this is so valuable, because so many people screw this up because I think they want to do so. I think it's on the next slide. Yeah, press releases. Ugh, well, seriously, save your money. All right. So what's the most effective PR you can do? Well, number one, and I hope you're writing this down, because this is so, like, when we figured this out and discovered this over the past couple of years, we were like, man, this is golden. Number one, the most effective PR that you can do is helping a journalist in need. Guess what? They're going to use your quote. They're going to use you. Okay, Haro might be a great source for you. If you develop relationships with journalists and they get to writing a story and they're like, oh yeah, what's her name? Oh gosh, who was that one gal that did fashion in Los Angeles? Yes, Erica. Oh man, let's hit up Erica. She would be so perfect to help us with this story. that is like almost guaranteed media placement, right? Unless you just like don't respond, you're going to get a great media placement from that. So that's the easiest, right? Number two would be a journalist or an influencer with whom you have a very good relationship with, and you let them know about something going on, right? And then maybe eventually, I mean, if you have a regular gig with them, like for me with Fox or my syndicated column or whatever, my syndicated TV thing, I just pretty much tell them, this is what I'm going to do. And they're going to be like, hey, yeah, that sounds great. And very seldom do they say, not really. So it's really, really effective to do that. When you get to that point, or when a journalist, you have a relationship and you're like, hey, this is happening. And they're like, oh, that sounds great. Thank you so much. Because you have a relationship built on trust. It's a professional relationship where they like you a lot. Number three would be a journalist with, maybe you don't really have that relationship, but it's still a good pitch and it's still like you're newsjacking and all that. That would be that. And then a distant number four would be press releases. They just suck. No one reads press releases. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your effort. And the reason why, unless you're like a major company, like Disney. I talked with Disney this morning. Their public relations department. When Disney puts out a press release, I live in Orlando, it's a big deal. When you put out a press release, tough love time, nobody cares. We don't care that you've released version 3.03 Charlie or something of your new software, your new app. We don't care. It's not news. Nobody's already talking about it. So don't do it. You could just focus on writing better content on your blog. And if you want to share that in a way that's kind of more pitch worthy, then do that instead. All right. So I kind of talked about, how to do that already. How do you get good in an interview? You just do lots of them. And I recommend that you start small and work your way up. So if your intention is to get on the Today Show, I'd say slow down there, Tiger. Just focus on your small media outlets first, get good at it, and then earn your way there. And a great place to start is podcasts. Podcasters, especially small podcasters, are always looking for guests. So these are no longer coming soon, by the way. You could, if you go to upendpr.com/Josh, you can listen to any of these podcast episodes and a bunch more. I love doing podcast interviews because that's an audience that's generally very targeted, and they want to hear from you, and it's generally a pretty good audience in terms of wanting to do business with you. We do a lot of work with our clients in helping them get lots of placements on large podcasts. We generally help them kind of scale up very, very quickly. So what's the number one job of a business owner? It's to grow your business, because again, if you're not, who is? And so rather than spending all your time, whatever, writing or design or whatever the tasks are, I want you to focus on growth. And the two best activities I have found for growing a company are, number one, network with influencers, if you're taking notes. Number two, serve large audiences. Let me repeat that. This is a great tweet, by the way. Best way to grow a company, fastest way to grow a company. Number one, network with influencers. Number two, serve large audiences. You will get rewarded. Here's a great example. Harry Campbell, the rideshare guy. Harry was an engineer in California making good money, but he also, for kicks, became a part-time Uber driver. And he really liked it. And he thought, man, this is cool. I'm going to learn how I can make a lot more money as an Uber driver. And then he started teaching other people how to do it. He created a website, a blog, and a podcast. And then he got a couple of media mentions because of the work he was doing. And then he and I started working together. And then all of a sudden he got a whole bunch of media connections. Within a few months, Harry was able to walk away from his full-time job, and he was able to start creating products and services for the rideshare industry. And now this is all he does. Harry's a happy guy. Here's Robert Farrington, the college investor blogger. In his first 2 weeks and getting serious about his media, now he's also a podcaster. He produces a lot of great content, but in his first 2 weeks, the guy like knocked it out of the park. Once he started taking what I have taught you in this workshop seriously, he started knocking it out of the park. By the way, you could watch a video interview with Robert, and I pin him down. I'm like, tell me exactly what you are doing, my friend. All right, upendpr.com/VIP. I'm typing in a thing here, a link where you can watch this later. All right. And I'll send that to all there. There was a link that I just sent to everybody. You can watch that interview with him. Also, hey, Mark Ferguson's a good friend of mine. And Mark, same position, also a podcaster and a blogger. And he, in fact, yeah, this is an old success slide. Mark has gotten now, I think his record is 55 media placements in 1 month. This guy is crushing it, crushing it. Now, thankfully, he's got a lot of good products and services for sale, and he also does pretty well as a real estate investor himself. So you can watch this video. It's at the same place I just gave you a link for. And then Shaden Diab in France. So she started working on she had an organization helping with the Syrian refugee crisis. And we got her pitched to France 24, which is kind of like the CNN of France. And now she's a regular contributor. She goes in like once a month now, and they keep inviting her back over and over and over again. Anytime Syrian refugees are in the news, she's there. And so I think that's thrilling. All right. So we have a ton of other people that we help out with. I've got tons of other success stories. But I want to review what we talked about here today, and I want to leave just a little bit of time to answer some questions. And I'd like to share with you what we do. It may or may not be a fit for you. That's okay. But I'd love to share with you kind of what we've done to disrupt the system in terms of getting entrepreneurs and startups more. And I'll share with you exactly step by step exactly how we do it. I'll share with you the software we use and everything. We're just doing it in a pretty smart way. But number one, how much money can you save with excellent publicity? Well, you can save yourself $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. All right. And by the way, in case you're curious, we don't charge anywhere near that. That's just not what we do. Number two, how you can easily do this yourself. You can. You don't need me. You can absolutely do it yourself. It will take you longer, and that's fine. Like if you really just want to, hey, I'm going to use 2017, and by the end of the year, I'm going to start to get the ball rolling in PR. You could absolutely do this yourself. You don't need to hire anybody. Number three, the first steps you need to do to get started today, I gave you the outline. Number four, where to find the best media contacts. That's on Twitter. And how to connect on Twitter. So get your reputation done first, and then it's real easy. Number one job of an entrepreneur is to what your business? It's to grow your business. Number six, don't commit the cardinal sin in the newsroom. I kind of mentioned this, but I'm glad I have this checklist. Do not talk in terms of what's in it for you. Do not talk in terms of like, hey, I want links back, and I want promotion, I want this, I want that. That is so inappropriate, man. Do not do that. That will get you blacklisted. They will, it's just like they just want to move away from you. Number seven, how to get on the Today Show. Just earn your way there. That's how you do it. Once you have more and more media credibility, the Today Show will be much more open to having you on. But at the beginning, they're not really open unless you have like something truly newsworthy and amazing that's happened. Number eight, how much money you can make with excellent publicity. Well, the sky's the limit. We've done pretty well with Savings Angel, and I invite you to do the same thing. So let me share with you a little bit about what we're doing at Upend PR. And that link that I shared with you, if you go to upendpr.com/VIP, or if you're on our site, just click on pricing, and where it says membership, you can click on that. And let me share with you exactly what we do. First off, I'm just going to tell you the pricing right away, because I hate that when they're like telling you like, oh my gosh, then they give you like all this song and dance, and then they tell you it's like, okay, and then it's like 3 payments of $10,000. You're like, well, that was a waste of my time. Just so you know, look, we've got prices for everybody. This one is 3 payments of $99. We've got 3 payments of $299, and then there's professional where we do managed PR, and I'll share. That's, by the way, that starts at $599 a month. Don't worry about that right now. Most people generally kind of fit at this level, unless your business is already doing pretty well and you have some budget for advertising and marketing. Then I'll share with you what each of these do. So first off, with all levels of what we do, you do have a massive video library that if you go through this entire library, you will be a certified media ace you will be ready to absolutely crush this thing in everything that you do in working with the media. There will be nothing which will hold you back. And I call the course Millions in Free Media because that's exactly what you're going to be able to get. Now, in addition to that, you're also going to get a Twitter Publicity Mastery video library, and this will tell you how to become a rock star on Twitter. You're going to be able to get lots of access to me in terms of a private Facebook group and live video-based media coaching where you can do Q&A with me. You're going to get access to a VIP media database with 20,000 contacts. It is not names. It is just simply the phone numbers and email addresses for newsrooms in any media outlet that you could imagine throughout the United States. Now, we have a much more robust database that we reserve for our advanced and pro members, which you can have access to if you're interested. Also, you get networking access, blah, 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 to everybody. And there is, like, if you do need us to do stuff, we'll give you a really cool break on that sort of thing. So that's, I just changed the price. I just lowered the price for 2017 because I was feeling generous, and I haven't changed it back to $198. It's actually 3 payments of $99. So when you click that, it should automatically reflect that. We'll check that in just a second. What's an advanced level membership? It's a little bit more money. But what it does is it gives you and I 30 minutes together. We'll do a strategy session. I'm going to work out and tell you exactly what you need to do over the next 12 months. Specifically, I'm going to go through your website. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to change so that you can make a lot more money. All right. I'm a big believer in return on investment. And so if you don't earn more in that first year than you invested, then I will be shocked. Just let me know, because that doesn't really happen. We're also going to set you up with some monitoring tools so you can find out what's going on in your industry a little bit better. You're going to keep tabs on what when your brand comes in the media. And then we're also going to set up an agency level, VIP level HARO membership. This is incredible. So what this does is it gives you only the targeted alerts of journalists who are like, I am writing a story about fashion. I need an expert right now. If you just respond to that individual alert that comes to you, you have a 2-hour heads up before anybody else gets it. That's where a lot of our clients are really knocking this thing out of the park, especially in their first couple of months. This is available at the advanced and pro level membership. All right. And so this allows you to just respond to inquiries. And by the way, you're good. Once you pay your 3 payments of $299, you're good for the year for HARO. And you will actually end up saving a lot of money because we spend about $5,000 for our HARO membership. We spend about, for the media database, we spend another $5,000 a year for that. We have tons of licenses for PR agency level software. We just use them in a different way so that we're not black boxing this stuff where we just keep it as a secret. We just tell you exactly what we're doing, and we just give our idea, and why we do upend PR is we just want to democratize the public relations system so that all startups can have equal access. A professional level membership is by application only, right? You have to click this and you have to apply, and we only take about 40% of the people that apply, just simply because we're looking for, we need to make sure that you can do the work and that you and I can lock arms and we can do this together. If I sense that you're not quite ready for that, I'll say, hey, why don't you take care of this, this, and this, and why don't we revisit in a few months or something. But go ahead and apply. Our pricing, just so you know, for that starts at $599 a month. Most people are around $1,200 a month. It's $599 for the first 4 hours of our work together each month, and then it's $500 for each additional 4 hours beyond that. All right, and so that's completely up to you. If you're in a position where you're really ready to make an investment in massive growth, then this would be something that would be awesome for you. So anyway, you can look at this matrix here. You click this. Here's what I'm going to do for you, though. I've got a coupon code here, and that coupon code is webinar 011017. I don't know if I can copy that. I don't think I can. But if you do that, when you click on any of these links, apply now, I'll just hook you up and make sure you get the discount for that. But if you see where you click, do you have a code? Click on that, and then it says webinar, what did I say again? 01, I'm looking at the date, 1017. Let's see if I did that right. Then you click apply and yay! Hey, you know what? That means you get your first month free if you want the basic membership. That's pretty cool. All right, so again, don't forget that coupon code. It expires Thursday midnight. Don't forget that. Okay, that's $100 off any level membership. If you use it on the basic membership, you pay $0 today, and then you just pay 2 payments of $99, and that'll give you access to all of our video-based training and education so that you can learn how to do this a lot faster. It's about about 7 hours worth of like videos that you'll be able to browse through the year. All right, now. Here's where I turn it over to you. Any questions on anything that we've covered? I want to make sure that you feel like you're fed. I want to make sure that you feel like you have stuff that you can do. If you're, by the way, if you have any questions, basic really, there's really nothing to ask. I mean, either it makes sense for you or it doesn't. And anyway, but if you have any questions about one of these, particularly professional membership, so for professional, just go ahead and apply, and then we'll schedule a strategy session right out of the gate that you don't even have to pay for, and we'll review where you're at in business, and then we'll make a determination of working together. But I'll get that schedule link, just so you know, is upendpr.com/schedule. I'm really protective of this just simply because we have so many clients now that I can't, unfortunately, spend my individual time with everybody. But if you think you're serious about doing a professional membership together, then let's absolutely do that. But any questions in the question window on the right-hand side about anything that we've covered? Because if not, you should feel empowered. You should feel ready to go and do everything that we covered. Coyote says, thanks a bunch for this amazing workshop, Josh. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Also, don't forget let's see, Mike, you get a $25 gift card. Everyone else gets a free car. No, I'm not Oprah. But make sure that you on the Twitter, make sure that if there was anything that you heard, or maybe you just want to say, hey, great workshop with @Josh Elledge today, then go ahead and tweet that out, and I will retweet that over the next couple of hours to my 26,000 Twitter followers, and would love to mutually benefit one another. So Mike, just do me a favor, just zip me a message either on Twitter or my email address, and this is for anybody, is josh@upendpr.com. You could zip me an email message, and I'll make sure that we get connected and get that taken care of. All right. So I don't see any questions. I feel like I must have given you guys everything you need to know then, which is no problem. Look, if you have questions later, that's totally fine. Just hit me up on Twitter or just zip me an email. That's totally cool. I'll either get you connected, I'll either answer the question myself, or I'll get one of my PR managers to kind of help you out and fill in any spots that I may have had. So with that, oh, Benita says, this was incredible. Thank you for sharing. Completely changed the way I think about PR at Dermveta. And by the way, please, I apologize for all the mispronunciations that I made this day, but Benita, that was incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. I wish you all amazing success. I am looking forward. I'm seeing now registrations that are coming in right now in my email. So welcome aboard. Thank you so much. It's going to be a great pleasure to work with you this year. Generally, we do money back guarantees too. So, you know, if you get in and you're like, this isn't everything I thought, that's fine. Just let me know within 30 days. I'll give you your money back. But just, you know, make sure, don't miss the 90, because the discount, the only time I do that is on this workshop, and I don't do workshops very often. So, hey, you were here. So take advantage of that. But with that, let me see. We go back to the window here. Hey, I just want to say thank you so much for joining. Again, if you have any other questions, hook me up or reach out to me on Twitter. And I look forward to working with those who are getting registered right now. Yes, I'm seeing there's at least two of you that have registered. So I look forward to working with you. If you have any problems with anything, let me know. But other than that, have an awesome day, have an awesome week, and have an amazing 2017, and let's make amazing publicity happen. Thanks, everybody.